Hi everyone, I'm Helen. Today we're going to do a little sketch and paint along of a blueberry branch. This is from the book Watercolor Workbook. I will have links down below and I'll try and remember to pop it also in the comment box, which is usually how I like to do it because I know it's easier to see the comments sometimes. So without any further delay, let's get into it. So we'll be working on a study out of this Watercolor Workbook, which is a book by Sarah Simon. If you're a beginner watercolorist, I recommend it. It's actually full of great watercolor paper with already done sketches that you just fill in according to the formula that she gives you on the side of each one of these. And you'll see I've done a lot of these. Some I have not done yet. Looking forward to getting to it. But I enjoy this book a lot. It's got actually my favorite thing in it, which is this these beautiful color recipes that are so inventive. Oftentimes I'll just look in here because I'm in the mood to make like a seashell pink, or I want a little bit of a variation maybe on the greens that I already have, or just for just general inspiration. So please do consider picking this up if you do think you're going to enjoy it, because I certainly have. So what we're going to do is basically a study of this blueberry branch here, which is page 65, if you do want to acquire this book. And so once upon a time, this was just a sketch outline that I filled in myself. So I'm going to draw it and I'm going to take you through a real time process of me doing so as I'll call myself a confident beginner at this point. Try and get this situated nicely here. This is Fabriano 1264 watercolor paper in the spiral notepad size. Um, it's fine. It's not like the best watercolor paper. It's definitely a step up from Canson XL, but not like 10 steps up or anything like that. It's not on the level of like a really good cotton, but that's okay. Sometimes we just need to practice with the less expensive stuff. So grab your tea, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. I hope you guys are okay with me not editing too much and not constantly chattering through the whole thing. I probably will have times where I have to concentrate a bit. So I just hope you're just in the mood to be a bit chill here with me. So I think I'm actually going to sketch instead of pencil. Lately, I've been reaching for this, which is my Albrecht Dürer Faber-Castell watercolor pencil. And I like this shade. This is Coral 131. And the kind of cool thing about it is that if you make a mistake, um, it just erases with water. It's kind of strange to say that, but I kind of prefer it sometimes to using pencil, just for the fun of it, really, to be honest, more than anything else. And also, I think it's going to show up nicely for you guys. Let me use the larger one. So I'm just kind of loosely and roughly going to sketch in what I see here, which are primarily leaves, if we're honest here. And I'm not paying too much attention to the shape of them. Whether they're perfect or not is not that important to me. Kind of more interested in capturing the shades and the colors and the blueberries. True confession, I once had a blueberry plant that I purchased for my garden. And also, true confession, I don't know what happened to it. It died. I don't know if they're finicky or not, but it did not last longer than a year. Sadly, because imagine if I kept it going, it would still be bearing blueberries. Alas, that did not happen for me. So let's see, what am I seeing here? I'm seeing a blueberry up here, seeing this one here. Just ever so slightly and gently, kind of copying what I see. Again, not caring too much if I get it perfect or not, sort of beside the point. Do you live somewhere where they have a lot of wild blueberries? Are you able to just like walk around and pick off blueberries when you see them? because that sounds pretty dreamy this time of year. We do have them here. I don't know how many wild blueberries we have, but we definitely have blueberry plants and trees. I've seen them, bushes, I think. Made these a little too small, so I'm going back in and just making them a little bigger. And now over to the leaves. So this has been pretty simple to sketch so far. I'm not that great at doing leaves, but I'm trying to let go of perfection. So the reason I decided to make a kind of a real-time draw along is if you're like me, sometimes you find some artists on YouTube just they go too quickly and it's not relaxing, it's stressful. So I wanted to get away from doing that in this video. Actually, I have to move this now. I won't be moving that coffee too far away though. Okay, another leaf. I don't know why I'm drawing this part down the middle because that's going to disappear as soon as I watercolor in them. And by all means, if you don't have like a water soluble light colored pencil like this, if you are drawing along, just use whatever you have. If you're bold, put down some ink. If you're more timid, start with a light pencil sketch and then s- take some of it away using a kneaded eraser or leave it. I mean, you can watercolor on top of pencil. I know that some people think that's bad form, but I don't think it is. So I can see my leaves are kind of going in a slightly different direction. And I want my stem to come a little longer, like that. There, that didn't take so long. This is a bit thicker than I would like it. So what I'm going to do is just, you'll see, I'm just going to grab my brush. And the kind of cool thing about this stuff is that you can just erase it with water, basically. See? Let me punch you in and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm just using a wet brush and just takes it away. If you don't want that water sitting on the surface, then obviously just and take it off with paper towel. Right, so that's how you correct using just water if you're using one of these watercolor pencils. Right. I'm going to rearrange things a little bit over here. I think I'm going to paint primarily with this Cotman filbert. This is just a medium-sized filbert because this water can't actually handle too much. Sorry, this paper can't handle too much water. So I find that the big round brushes just make it way too wet and then I got to contend with that. I just want to concentrate on, see, this was my version here. Let me show you. That's how I chose to paint it in. This is the original version. So let me hold it up a little bit. You see the choice of colors is a little bit different. So I don't think that I'm beholden to either of these. I'm just going to go my own way. I can see these pages on this side are really wanting to flip up. So I'm just going to clip them down with a very pricey device, my wooden clothes peg. Let's think a bit about colors now. I think what I'm going to try and do is stick with ready-made colors, but we'll see how we get on. Hmm. I can see in the original mix they liked olive green, branch, smog, cobalt blue hue, and also Payne's gray. I'm not sure, but I'll do exactly that. But let's just paint and see how we go and have some fun. Just dipping in a bit of water, using the filbert like I said, and I think I'm going to use some olive green from Roman Szmal. Yes, this is a Winsor & Newton travel palette, but these Roman Szmal ones fit perfectly in there, so when I'm done, when I pan one of them, I replace it with a Roman Szmal one that I like, or I just pop them out altogether. I'm not too precious about it. Let's see what we can do here. I'm just filling this in. Maybe leaving a little space, but I am trying to cover these coral lines so that they dissolve into the painting. Here we go again. To this olive green, I might add a little bit of sap green, maybe mix them together. I'll just drop a little bit back in here, drop maybe some in here. Maybe make this one more of that new mix of colors. Clean off my brush a bit, just make this a bit more dilute. There's no real rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this, just kind of going with the flow. I think I might add a bit of indigo to this little bit of green here. Hopefully you guys can see well. But yeah, this paper's not, it's really not the best at holding a lot of water, but it's okay. The upside is it's not that expensive. So just painting in with this random green mix that I made. This one maybe I won't add so much paint. Just clean off my brush and wet this down a little bit in the center. Here. Okay, these leaves. What are we going to do for these leaves? In the reference, they're darker. So what happens if we add indeed a little bit more of this indigo to this green? Let's see if we like it. Oh, that's nice. It's pretty. So the colors I've been using are olive green by Roman Szmal, a tiny bit of sap green by Roman Szmal, and Roman Szmal's indigo as well. I like that, but I think I do want to make it a bit more green again with more sap green. I think the point here, though, is just really to have fun. Like, this is obviously not a hyper-realistic blueberry branch. Feeling that's a bit dry, so I added just a drop of water to my filbert, and I'm going to add a bit more of this blue here, and I'm going to add that in. What next? What do you guys think? Should we go for the blueberries? For the blueberries, I think I'm going to use, I almost feel like this ultramarine will be better, and I'm going to put it here. No, I can see that that's not right. I'm also going to swap brushes, so I'm going to get rid of this filbert for now. I think it did its job. And I'm going to use a round brush. This is a round size 4. So let's use a little bit of this. It's not perfect, but I think it could be fun to like start painting a few of these in this greeny indigo mixture. Almost like wetting them, and we'll put a darker color in after. Just a few. Sometimes you can mix up a paint color by mistake and then still like it. It's funny how that happens. In the reference, they want to use cobalt blue hue. I don't have that color, I just have indigo. I also have this cerulean blue, I have ultramarine and indigo. Those are the blues that I have, and that's fine. Yeah, that's much more blueberry-ish. But I think I want to add a bit of Payne's gray to it. No, actually, you know what? I keep changing my mind. The blues, I'm not an expert with using blue. I don't use it that much. So I find for me, it's one of those colors that I'm not as good at picking. Ask me to pick out a pink though, or a red. Oh, no problem. Do you have any colors like that where you're just like, you're good sometimes? Like maybe you're good at picking out yellows? I'm pretty good at picking out yellows, but blues? I don't know. It's a bit of a weak spot for me. So I'm just lightly going in there with my round size 4, which is the perfect amount of water for these. I'm going to see what happens if I go back in here to these ones that we did. Trying to paint them a bit spherical, but I'm not sure how well that's picking up. Again, not that it matters. I can see, though, that we're going to need to use a darker hue to really bring these to life. Here we go. So I feel like maybe the coral is going to show. Because you know what? I haven't been using ultra wet mixes here, but I'm okay with that. But if I want to dissolve it, I just have to spend a bit more time going back and forth over the edges. See, now this color is too close to the leaves, so I'll darken it up with something. I don't know what yet. This one has a big highlight on it. Will I leave it like that? I think I might. Just leave quite a bit of that highlight showing still. These are nice, but they don't have enough like punch to them. So what can we bring in? What if I added a bit of purple? Because I think blueberries have a bit of a purple aspect. This is my Roman Szmal, just a loose purple that I have. And it's going to make it dark without making it too black, I think. But I can see that's quite watery, so what that's going to do is cause problems if I lay that down right now. So thicken up this purpley blue mix by just adding more. Yeah, see, I went too wet. Oh well. Just kind of shading the outside of these. That's not even necessarily what I see here. I've just decided to kind of go my own way, as mentioned. Yeah, I'm just gonna soften this up on the inside here. Actually, looks not bad. It's very soft. So I'm just gonna clean off and wipe off this number 4 round and just fan out, soften out these edges that I've put in here. If you notice, I'm kind of shading out this left side of them all, making that part a little bit darker and making it almost like the light is coming from maybe this way. Now I'm going to work on the branch. And I think for funsies, we'll use the rigger, which I don't see that many people using here, but it is fun when you get a chance to do so. I'm going to see about using Payne's Gray. Put it in here. Yeah, Payne's Gray, maybe, next with this Van Dyke Brown. Also Roman Szmal, Payne's Gray from Roman Szmal, Van Dyke Brown from Roman Szmal. Roman Szmal is spelled Szmal. I'm not actually like mispronouncing it or anything. Apparently that's how you say it. It's so hard to mix this up. This Van Dyke Brown does not soften easily. I should have really sprayed it, but I'm lazy. So some people with the rigger like to work down. My hand works more steady working up. So that is what I'm going to attempt to do here. And I'm going to just lay this down and see how we go. Okay. Using a rigger is so much fun. I almost never use it. So thank you guys for giving me an opportunity to pull it out today. Let's reach a branch into this. Let's reach a branch into this. Let's go through here a little bit. Here. Let's connect these blueberries. Let's reach into this. And to this main part of the stem. I love how the rigger does most of the work for you. You don't have to hold your hand too steady. I never understood what they were for until I asked my watercolor teacher. And that's what she said. She said it's to help you pull straighter lines, making it great for stems. But when it's so skinny, not many stems I draw or paint are this skinny. So I have a decision to make, and the decision is, do I want to pull up lines to the middle of the leaves? I think I do. So I'm going to keep on with the rigger, keep dipping it between the Van Dyke Brown and the Payne's Gray. Gonna add, splashed. Gonna add a bit of water. Dab this up, no big deal. And with my rigger, I guess I'm going to draw it through. Okay, let's see. That looks nice. I like that. I'm using it more watered down. That's how I got this splotch here, but I added a bit of water because I want this line or vein going to the leaf. to not be as dark as the stem. So I guess the downside of using this coral pen is that it doesn't erase, right? It's not really erasable. It can erase with water, but sometimes it doesn't, you see? I don't know how well you're seeing, but yeah, the blueberries, it went over the blue of the blueberries covered up the coral color that well, but the greens being that they're quite light did not. And you know what? I'm okay with that. And I accidentally dipped in the green paint and made this green because I wasn't concentrating. And do you know what? Do you know what I'm going to say, right? That's okay. That's really okay. I did it again. That's really okay. Let's do this final one. So, if you are enjoying this more chill, laid back, step by step, non heavily edited version of a sketch and watercolor along, please do consider subscribing. Or at the very least, if you could drop me a like, that would be very much appreciated. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm so I don't get buried and forgotten forever. So I'm going to let this dry a bit, which actually I don't often do. I don't like to paint in two steps. I'm very lazy. I like to get it done in one. But I think this one merits a little bit of thinking and coming back to it in 10 minutes. So I'm just going to finish up my coffee and I'll see you. Well, in your time, it's going to be no time at all. But in my time, I'm going to be back in 10 minutes. Okay, we're back. I've thought about it. And the thing that's preventing me from really, really liking this, although I like it well enough, I particularly like it from there downwards. This, I think, looks nice. It's the sap green, which I should have known because I actually don't love this Roman Szmal sap green. I've had Winsor& and Newton sap green, and I thought it was way nicer. Although, ironically, I like pretty much all of his shades better than Winsor& and Newton. So those are the two types of paints that I've concentrated on. And oh, another one now that we're here, I've dabbled in is these ones from the Ukrainian brand Rosa. And I just want to mention them because how hard must it be to do business in Ukraine right now? Um, very, very pigmented. That's the purple. That's the silver. Very affordable, pro grade as far as I know, and just excellent. So if you do see them, give them a try. They are great paints as well. I just didn't happen to use them for this particular painting, but I'll be buying more from them as well. So I don't love the sap green, but you know what I do love? And honestly is the one I use to correct paintings where I make green boo-boos all of the time. Green is one of those things I'm a bit picky about. Um, i it's hard to get it right. I don't know. I like particular about the greens that I like. Okay, I'm gonna use my size 6 Winsor& Newton round. I'm gonna go over these with a bit of Hooker's green, and that is the name of it. My husband's like, "It's called Hooker's green," and I'm like, "It is." He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I don't know." So I'm not trying to be spicy. That is just actually the name of it. So Hooker's green is just this beautiful mid green, just a very nice medium green. So here we go. Oh, I already like that better. Look at that green. It's so nice. Pretty. So that's Hooker's green. But I'm still not happy, as per usual with me. So I'm going to add a bit of indigo to it. And that's going to be nice. And the reason it looks nice is because we're picking up the indigo that we also used in the berries. That's why I think these look more harmonious, the greens, than these ones up here do, because these have more yellow from the sap green. That's my theory anyway, and I'm sticking with it. So I'm just going to basically color over these. I don't know how else to describe it. I never said this was a tutorial, guys. This is just a paint along. So we're just having fun together. Better, better. Still maybe could use a little bit more indigo. Let's see what happens now. It's like overlining lips. I'm overlining these leaves. I think I like that better. Just gonna resuscitate this side that dried up a bit. That's the great thing about watercolor, right? Doesn't really go to waste. You can still use these little remnants. That's why people don't clean their palettes if you're a beginner and you're wondering. Sometimes you can just go over it, reuse it. Sometimes you need just dirty water if you're trying to represent like a white flower or something like that. Yeah, pretty happy with that. The coral pencil underneath is standing out quite a bit. So we have two choices. The way I see it is choice number one is that, we leave it and it looks like this almost underpainted, pretty look. I don't think it looks bad actually with the coral. And then, of course, the other choice is that, you just go over everything with a heavier hand and you cover it. Both are completely reasonable. And also, like I said, we're just having a play. So this is a study. This is not meant to be perfect or anything like that. We're just having fun using some new materials. I kind of like that. But let's say we did want to go over it. Let's just try, see what happens. What are we going to do here? We use that skinny rigger to do the branches. So let's get a thicker brush and we'll cover it up with that and see what happens. We'll be back to the foreground. And I'm going to go in with a wetter Van Dyke brown. I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to go on heavier. We're going to cover it. And I don't know if that's going to be worth doing yet or not, but we're just trying things. Maybe I should have stopped where I was and left well enough alone, but haha. On the other hand, why not just try something new? It's going to go in here. And I'm going to go here, anywhere I see more pink and the line being quite thin, kind of thicken it up. I kind of like that. What do you guys think? Another place that I'm seeing quite a bit of coral influence still is around the blueberries. So I'm going to take this size 4 round once again. And I'm just going to go in with straight up ultramarine, which I'm mixing up here. And I'm going to make these blueberries a bit bigger to cover up those coral round outlines. This one doesn't look too bad. Also, just outlining it is not the worst idea. Just going to make it more spherical looking. And add a bit of dimension. There we are. I think it's pretty. What do you guys think? As tempted as I am to keep going and going, I'm going to call it, which I sometimes have trouble doing, but I think it looks nice as it is. I'm not going to add anything else to it. Let's have a look at the OG we were looking at originally. And I kept this very light and faint, but I really went for it this time. I'm happy with the drawing. I like the colors and how they turned out. And most of all, that was just a fun, relaxing time, which is the purpose of sitting down sometimes to paint, right? So hope you all enjoyed that. Thanks so much for hanging out here with me, and we'll see you on the next video.